I look at what events were really happening, and I find out, wait a minute, in 1973 and 1974, there was major legislation pushed by the United States Congress, and it passed, concerning the construction and the legal funding for underground facilities for all different types of purposes. So I'm putting all this together, and I'm realizing, wait a minute, these are Phoenix fallout shelters. Our governments are working together. This bullshit that's going on the surface is all this is all smoke and pony show. This is bread and circus. This is bread and circuses. It's all distraction. What's really happening is that they know something's coming. They may not know when, but right now we have a magnetic deviance that is so far that it's obvious to anybody in the government who has access to scientific panels that something very large is approaching our solar system. It is the only reason why we would have a magnetic variance of over 11 degrees. What I mean is true north has always been 10.5 to 11.5 degree variance off of magnetic north. Magnetic north has always been slightly off. And this is what helps navigators with their compasses and all that. They know this, they memorize this. It's been this way for thousands of years. But all of a sudden, magnetic north is now deviating fast from true north. This is what's happening right now. Now, in the grand scheme of things, since the last time that we suffered lithospheric displacement in the simulacrum, which is the simulacrum simulating a whole crustal slippage, where oceans actually slip their bases and continents just slip right under oceans. The last time this happened was 3895 BC. Because the 3 pole shifts that have happened since then, we have the exact dates for them. We even have the magnetite readings for when they happen. It's very easy to detect. So those were what are called temporal pole shifts. That is when the magnetosphere has gone so far, the actual true north, the whole world does kind of tilt. But then it's over with. It's done. Storms, earthquakes, cities get leveled, people survive, they rebuild, everything's cool, and there's a whole bunch of traditions that are begun that the sun stopped in the sky and went and reversed 10 degrees. So this is what we get with temporal pole shifts. We've had 3 of them in recorded history. But before the advent of writing in the year of 3895 BC, and this year is very well established. I don't want to bore your listeners with it right now. If they're interested, I have about 40 videos that show how this one year is shown by many, many different researchers, not just me. So 3895 BC, this major Phoenix episode happened where we went through a real pole shift. This is the reason why the Great Pyramid is no longer at 0 degrees longitude, 0 degrees latitude. It is now located at 30 degrees north latitude. The entire shift was 30 degrees. This tells us that the next time it happens, North America, Canada is going to take the place of the United States. The United States is going to take the place of Mexico. Mexico is going to take the place of Central America. South America is getting shoved right into the ice field. That's what's going to happen in this hemisphere. Now, because the Great Pyramid is the total center of turning, northern Egypt to Israel is the pivot of motion. It's the least damage. No tsunamis, no earthquakes, very little damage, almost probably 90% survivability. That area is only going to turn slightly, while the other hemisphere go. Remember, this is all simulated, though. It's not a real world we're living on, but because of our central nervous system, we are experiencing these as sequentially real events. So there's a huge. So I start talking about planetary dynamics, and I confuse a lot of my listeners because I have a lot of flat Earth listeners, and I got all the respect in the world. Matter of fact, you're not going to miss me on the flat Earth stuff. I got Eric Dubai's research. I got Zetetic Astronomy. I got Gleason's Is the Earth a Globe? I am very well read up on the 1890s, 1900s, and 1920s. All the scientific experiments that show that we are on an absolutely still world. There is nothing happening, and that all movement in the entire cosmos is in the sky.
Yep.
It's not down here. It's not down here. So
absolutely,
we have this pole shift. We're heading toward a pole shift. And this now, you can leave the scientific parlance out. You can go straight to just eschatology. The prophecies of the Hopi, the prophecies of the Maya, the prophecies are all throughout Judeo-Christian, the Zoroastrian prophecies. That's what they were all feared, was the next pole shift. The next time the axis mundi was broken. The not just
And we
moving.
can feel it coming. I know
You
I
feel it
can.
coming?
Yeah.
But 18 years is not a long time for something this dynamic. We have a lot of stuff on Facebook where people are talking about, oh, it's going to happen in 2023. It's going to happen in 2024. It's going to happen in 2025. You know what?
I feel hopeful that we have 18 years.
Yeah, see, 18 years is not a long time compared to the fact that we're talking about 5,700 years of history, the last time that it happened.
Right.
So it's not 18 years is nothing. The deal is, though, is what is in my isometric analysis, in my use of the Ophis algorithm, I have found that there's going to be a very, very artificial apocalypse. I'm talking about something that's going to fool people into believing a real apocalypse is happening, but it's all smoke and mirrors because what's really happening right now, even the truckers, all this stuff makes sense. If you just put it all into perspective, these trucker convoys, all this, they have normalized the sight of seeing truckers. It's not about patriotism and all that. It's about getting all these goods and getting all these people and all these migrant workers showing up on the border who are not appearing in American cities. Where are they going? They're going where the work is needed. All these trucker convoys that are now being seen, everybody, I've seen one the other day. Everybody's talking about these patriots coming together. No, it's not. They are taking everything they need to these underground facilities. All those explosions, they were clearing out more areas for more levels for these underground facilities. If anybody knows how to build underground facilities, it's the United States of America. And anybody in our military who's ever been to Cheyenne Mountain will tell you that, because that's over 20 cities pancaked on top of each other going underground for where they run the U.S. military, the Marines, the Space Force, NORAD, everything, the entire military engine of the United States can be run from that mountain 6 miles underground.
Yeah. One question I have is, with those underground cities, are they built sturdy enough where they won't be affected by the Earth's movement?
Okay, that's all. Listen, the crust is deep. Our oil companies have drilled so deep, we have found basement rock going for miles, absolutely solid. So in order to answer this question, I have to call to mind the fact that underground cities are not a thing that are really mysterious. 61 of them have already been found by archaeologists in Turkey alone. And incidentally, what's really coincidental here, but you remember we live in a hologram, so it's not a coincidence. At the same time that construction began in 1962 for Cheyenne Mountain to build America's underground cities and military, that exact same year was when archaeologists found the first city in Turkey that was underground. And it was built by a civilization that could bore through rock. They have air shafts that are designed to trap air for months for a large population, even if the surface of the world is completely covered in water. It is absolutely genius. You ought to Google it, because I don't like using Google for my core information, but to verify things is good. If you Google the underground cities of Turkey, you will find some phenomenal photographs of what they're finding now. They don't know who built them. Yep. All they know is that the first 3 levels have Hittite inscriptions.
Yep.
Now, what it is Hittite graffiti, which means that these facilities are older than the 19th century BC, because even the Hittites didn't know about the 7 levels below those.
Right. Jason, thank you so much for your sharings.